Awesome.
Okay, great.
We're
Great,
good to
great,
go.
great.
How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm fine, and you? How are you doing? It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you, everybody. We've been, trust me, this is all in the last 5 days. Everyone's been excited. And for those who
Uh-huh.
don't know, he's joining us live from Abuja, Nigeria. I see
Yes,
you
sir.
in the fan. Is it that hot in Abuja right now? Or is your chieftaincy? Is that your chieftaincy fan?
This is one I got from Japan. One of the fans I got from Japan. Today was 34 Celsius, but now it's come down to 24.
As in, it's 24 right now.
Yes, right now.
Okay, in London, I think it's about, what's it now at me in London as we speak? It's very cold. Let's just put it that way. So we've got two heaters in here right now. It's
No way.
I'm so happy to have you in the building tonight. We met for the first time at an event where a friend of mine pulled the shock of my life. Shady Blue, she's in the building. Shout out to Shady Blue. Turn on your camera, Shady. And Shady
Shady
Blue introduced.
Blue.
Yes, she's in the building. Shady, turn on
Wow,
your
it's a
camera
long
and wait.
time. Long time.
Very, very, very long time. And
Yes.
that was at an event in central London. Ever since then, and then we met again in Nigeria, if you remember, when we came for the Nollywood Awards in 2015, and we've kept
Right.
in touch ever since. And more importantly, though, a lot of us on this platform tonight, you can like you that video I just played, and that was important. It was so important to play that video. That video was shot in 1980. That's Shady Blue. Hello, Shady. How you doing? Unmute yourself, Shady. Yeah, go on.
Hi, Jeffrey. It's been a while.
Shady, how you doing? A long
Wow.
time. How are you? Hi. Nice to
I'm
see you
good.
again.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still here. I'm still here in Nigeria.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I remember that day when Jeffrey was saying like, Abbas, what are you doing in the UK? Come to Nigeria. And that was how long ago now? Probably about 8, 7 years ago, or even
Something
maybe
like that.
longer.
No, it's over 10 years ago. I didn't have a child then.
You know what? Because it was for the premiere of the movie The Figurine with Ramsey Noah.
Exactly, the figure
Yeah,
is 2009.
Yeah, something
That's
like
12
somewhere
years.
around there.
Awesome.
yeah.
And here we are 12 years later. He's now an honorary Nigerian citizen. He just had a daughter last year on his birthday. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
Congratulations.
yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Shady, stay on board, Shady, and you're going to be joining us much later during the show. But let's
Okay.
digging in with Jeffrey right now. And I'm thinking you've had a career. I saw one of your interviews. You've been in the music industry since 1977. You said, and I'm thinking,
Yes,
how am
sir.
I going to constrict all of this into a nice conversation within the hour? But I'm going to give it my best shot. So I'm going to kick it off from the very, very basics. Tell us about how did Shalamar, and I know you've told the story millions of times, but for this particular audience, tell us how Shalamar came about and up to the point when you had your very first visit to Lagos in 81 or 82, I believe.
Right. Before I get started, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
All I want to tell your listeners and everybody that DJ Abass, you are the best. You are the greatest. I love you, man. You've
Thank
been
you
holding it down all these years,
so
and
much.
I tip my hat and my heart to you. I just want to get that out of the
I
way.
just
Okay,
think
brother?
thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Okay, so here we go. Here we go. I was dancing on the TV show Soul Train in in America, in Los Angeles. I've always been a dancer. I was dancing like my daughter. My daughter is born on the same day I am, so we have the same characteristics. She was holding on the furniture and dancing before she could properly stand up and walk. That's what I was doing. So I've been dancing ever since I was that young. And I was following my two older sisters and my mother. And so my mother also played piano in church, and she formed youth choirs and stuff like that. So I grew up singing and dancing at home. And I'm the youngest in the family and the only boy. So I just continued doing it. So when Soul Training came on television, I'm like, I got to be there. I got to be on that show. So eventually I made it onto the show Soul Train. My best friend, my brother Tyrone Proctor, got me on the show. He was one of the main Soul Train dancers, and he walked me into the studio the first time. And so ever since then, that was it. So little did I know that Don Cornelius, the producer and the host of Soul Train, along with Dick Griffey, who was a concert promoter, that they would start a Soul Train record company. Now, when they started the Soul Train record company, roughly around 75 to 76, I auditioned to be a member of the Soul Train Gang recording group, and they didn't pick me. And I was devastated because I just knew I wanted to be in there. But I didn't get to pick. So I was actually in an impromptu way working out of the Soul Train office, running errands for them. I was taking Don Cornelius' Rolls Royce to the car wash and Dick Griffey's Benz to get washed. I was getting the trade magazines. I was getting them lunch. I was literally working out of the Soul Train office for a while. Then one of the members of the Soul Train Gang group dropped out of the group, Hollis Pippins, and they put me in to replace him. But I only stayed in for like a month or so. And Don Cornelius said, Jeffrey, this group is not going to happen. We want to build something around you. I'm like, really? He said, yes. So my dance partner at the time was Jody Watley. And her and I had gotten notoriety as being one of the most prominent dance couples on the show. And so Jody had never sang before. She had never, her mother is in the adult choir at our church, and I'm in the youth choir at our church. And Jody always sat in the congregation. So Jody, no one had ever heard Jody sing up until then. But when the opportunity came and I was coaching her vocals and things like that, Jody was still in high school. Jody's about three or 4 years younger than me. So Jody was still in high school, her last year in high school when Shalamar started in 1977.
Wow.
So I'm trying to give you a cursory version of all that's happened.
Every second of it. Enjoying it.
It's a lot to compress. And let me tell you guys something. When we did our first album, Uptown Festival, which was the collage of Motown hits together, into our second album, Shalamar Disco Gardens, which had the hit Take That to the Bank. We started from the real bottom. We did the Chitlin circuit across America. They call it the Chitlin circuit. We were on a bus that was breaking down. We're in the middle of winter and the heat, wouldn't work on the bus. We're staying in these ragtag hotels and stuff. I'm sorry, not hotels, but motels. We started from that bottom. We're talking pre-MTV era. So you couldn't just put out a video and suddenly the nation sees you at a glance. We had to go out there and put in the footwork, get in the trenches to get to know the people. So we started, and it really paid off because during the period where we were going out there getting to know the public and the retailers and the radio station and all that, the experience we were getting by doing all these shows, sometimes 15 people would show up, sometimes 50 people, sometimes it'll be 200 people. We're still trying to make a name for ourselves, but every show we did it like we were at the, what did they call it? The Royal Albert Hall. Even if there was 5 people, we were performing like we're at the Royal Albert Hall. It didn't matter to us. We wanted to be there and we earned our stripes. We worked our way up. So by the time we got that national notoriety, we were well-seasoned entertainers, which we were already for Dancing on Soul Train, but as a group and, to really know how to communicate with the audience, how to come on the stage, how to do the choreography, how to handle the microphones, how to do, in case something went wrong, you had to keep on going. In case you dropped the microphone, in case the sound system went out, you have to learn how to deal with these things. And you can only do it by experience. There's no shortcut to learning the craft of it. Now, in today's context, where everyone has a studio at home and they could just put a beat together and they could put a video out there and suddenly they're seen by millions at a glance, it's a whole new ball game.
It was the analog era. And perhaps
Yes,
that's
sir.
one of the challenges today because you have so many recording artists who struggle as performing artists, because by the time they get a hit record there, they comes out, boom, they become a star, but then they go on stage, they can't deliver. We'll come to that. Now, Shalamar did come to Lagos at some point.
Yes.
Who's
It
that?
was Ben Bruce. At the time, Silverbird was just, he was doing the NBGM, the Miss,
Most beautiful Nigerian girl.
Most beautiful girl in
Yeah.
Nigeria, yeah. And then he was just a promotion. It's just, he was promoting concerts. He had brought the Whispers over, Shalamar, Dynasty, Kool and the Gang, things like that. But when Shalamar came, and we didn't know it at the time, but when we got there, we came to the National Arts Theater in Lagos. We played it twice. We went to the University of Ife, University of Ibadan, and either it was Unilag or Lagos University. It was one of them. But
Unilag.
it was
Unilag.
okay. It was Unilag because I didn't know the place at the time, and so we did not realize the impact that we had on Nigeria after we left there. We did not understand the impact that we had on Nigeria until many years later.
And what impact did Nigeria have on you eventually? Now that you're there.
Oh, okay. I want to tell people this because this is the reason why I'm here in Nigeria. I didn't come here because a job was waiting for me. I didn't come here because an opportunity brought me here. I came on my own. I jumped on an airplane and I came on my own. And I just wanted to see what was going on because growing up in America, growing up what they call us African American or Black American, whatever they want to call us, we're African, regardless of where if you're in Jamaica, if you're in Haiti, wherever you are, if you're Black, you're African. So anyway, growing up an African in America, my mother always told us, be proud to be African as we were growing up. She always instilled that in us. So I always wanted an opportunity to come to Africa. So when Ben Bruce brought us there in 1982 for the concert, when I stepped off the airplane, I walked out of the airport, I got down and I kissed the ground.
Wow.
And that was like, because it was me making it full circle from my ancestors taken to America. And then for me finally making it back, it was like, it was so symbolic to me. And it was such an experience for me to finally make it back to Africa. And coming to Nigeria to do the concert, it,
At a
how
relative
can I explain?
age too.
Pardon?
And you were quite young at the time as well.
Oh yeah, I was still young at the time, and I was still in my 20s, my early 20s. And so, but the point is that the effect that it had on me to finally be in Africa and to be among the most populous Black country on the planet.
Hmm.
It didn't matter if it didn't look like America or they didn't have this, they didn't have that, because everything they had was African. Everything was African owned, opposed to America where everything is owned by the other people, you know. So
Awesome. Okay, so um, I'm looking at Jeffrey Daniel and your career. At some point, it started with Shalamar, but then it moved. It kind of like shifted a bit after a while, and which brought us down to the top of the pops thing. Now, I've seen this documentary series on YouTube. There was a special on Shalamar, and what basically happened. Apparently, at the time, Shalamar was going through issues, and they didn't have the full band to come and promote the album in the UK, and you opted to come to the UK to do that the promotions, and then you landed on top of the pops, which was the biggest music show on TV at the time. Now that video, and it was important to play that video at the very beginning for me, because that video, I can't count how many times I've seen that video, and I don't even want to imagine how many times you've seen it. And we have quite a few people on this platform who are dancers as well. We have Eric, another dancer here. You meet him later, and that video did a lot for someone. It's more than just a music video. We talk about videos like Thriller. You say, "Oh, Thriller, that's a video that kind of like went beyond its time." That video stood the test of time for those of us in this generation. So tell us about the Top of the Pops experience and your connection with the UK. And you did live here for a good while as well before you went to Nigeria. So tell us about that particular show and how it kind of like brought you into the UK network.
okay, what happened was, and the truth of the matter is, because there's a lot of different stories or rumors going around, the truth of the matter was Jody Watley was pregnant.
At the time.
Yeah, at the time. So Shalamar could not come collectively because Jody was pregnant. So they decided to bring me over by myself, which was very unorthodox, because when does a member of the group come on a TV show and not even sing the song, just dance through the whole number? That was something that was so unprecedented at that time, and maybe up until now as well.
Up until now.
It just so happened that I was doing a dance that the UK and Europe had never seen before, but I didn't know. I was doing what I did. And at the time, because I came up dancing on Soul Train, so I came up doing locking, doing the robot, whacking, all these different successions of dances that came along. At that time, I was into the body popping in electric boogaloo, and that's what I was doing. And I just perfected the backslide, because I wanted to do it across the stage on the stages with Shalamar, which I was doing at our live performances. So when I got to Top of the Pops and I did that performance, the next day we went to Amsterdam to continue our promotion. Now, before we left, our record company was calling, like, Melody Maker, Smash Hits, Record Mirror, all these different music trade magazines trying to get an interview. And they're kind of like, yeah, okay, Shalamar, yeah, okay, yada, yada, yada.
Mm.
After that night, we got to Amsterdam. I did a little promotion, and our record company guy came banging on my hotel door. He said, Jeffrey. And I'm like, what's going on? He said, man, we got to go back to London. Everybody's looking for you. I said, what did I do? He said,
Did the
that
moonwalk.
performance, he said, that performance you did on Top of the Pops last night has now everybody wants to interview you. The country is buzzing to the point that they demanded me back again, which is another unprecedented event, that I came back again to do a second performance
On Top of the Pops.
on Top of the Pops. And
Unbelievable.
do you know that a couple of years ago, and this is what I'm so humbled by. I'm so humbled by this, you guys. I mean, I don't mean this in a arrogant or braggadocious way or anything like that. I'm just very humbled because that performance I did rated in the top 5 all ever hits of appearances on Top of the Pops. My performance is in the top 5 of the history of the Top of the Pops TV show. And you're talking about back to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Elton John and all these things. That performance I did is in the top 5 all-time performances of Top of the Pops. And I'm very humbled by that.
Was and at the time, was that a factor in you relocating to the UK thereafter, after a while?
No, what happened was our record company was not being fair with us. And they didn't want to, they weren't paying us in commensurate to the work we were putting out there, you
Mm.
know? And so at some point we had to deal with it, and they still didn't want to be fair. So what happened was Paul McCartney asked me to be in his movie that we did, and we filmed it in '83, but it came out in 1984. Give My Regards to Broad Street. So if you guys want to go on YouTube and see that, I'm dancing to silly love songs, and so I'm doing my whole dance. And in fact, that's where I first do that body lean that
Okay.
I would eventually put in Smooth Criminal, but I'm doing it by myself
Okay.
in Paul McCartney's movie. Okay. So while I'm in the UK staying at the Royal Garden Hotel for a month, and I'm filming with Paul McCartney, I'm keeping tabs on what's happening back home because we were supposed to get a new management because Dick Griffey was our record company, our publisher, our manager, our tour agent. He was everything. He had his hand in every pocket, which I didn't mind, but he still wasn't paying us in commensurate to what we were really making. And so we had to get another management. And for some reason, Howard didn't show up for that meeting that Jody had with the management that I set up back at home. So when I heard that things were, pun unintended, when I heard that things were falling apart, uh, I just said, this is it, you guys. I can fight the record company on our behalf, but I don't want us to be at each other's throat. So I went to London to do a movie with Paul McCartney for 1 month in 1983, and I stayed for the next 3 or 4 years.
Oh
Or
dear.
was that 4 or 5 years?
And then obviously talking about you as a you have a it appears you have a nomadic streak in you because thereafter you ended up in Japan.
Yes.
So
I've been in Japan for the past 20 to 30 something years, almost 30 something years.
of your life.
Yes.
So you're still connected to Japan as it is.
Yeah, because I came from Japan to Nigeria. And
Okay.
so people, they know I'm an American, but if I'm going home, if I'm leaving Nigeria, I'm going to Japan, not America. But I go to America a couple of times because I have children there. I have a couple of grandchildren there, my family. So for that reason, but other than that, America has not been home for me properly since the '80s, properly.
Well, so you spend more time in Japan and Nigeria more than the States in the last 20 years. Is that fair to
Yes,
say?
and yes, and over the past 10 years, I've been spending a little more time in Nigeria now.
Okay. So, how did you get into Nigeria? So you've told us about how you ended up in the UK. How did you land in Nigeria?
Okay, we came here in 2008. 10 for a private wedding. It was in Port Harcourt. And so we did this private wedding. And while we were here, I saw what was going on. And I came to Nigeria for the very first MTV Awards, coincidentally, in Abuja.
Yes.
I was in Gabon at the time. And while I was staying in Gabon, I caught wind that they're about to have the very first ever African MTV Awards in Nigeria. I'm like, what? I jumped on the plane and I had to be there just to witness it. I didn't know anybody. I only knew Ben Bruce. I met Kenneth on the way up there from Kenneth Records.
Yeah.
I met Kenneth. Then I met Yini Kuti.
Yeah.
At the MTV Awards. And we're brother and sisters ever since then. We're family. Her, and Femi as well, and their children. And so, and I met Nice. I met the singer Nice there.
Yes. Yeah.
I wanted to meet PASSCOE because I was into their album, The Game Is Over. I really wanted to meet them, but I couldn't get to them. And that's when the first time I saw Two-Face. And he may have been still with the Plantation Boys at the time, I think, or just coming out of it. I forgot.
He'd left Plantation Point at the time. He left.
He just left. He just left. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I saw what was happening in Nigeria, I said, you know what? Wait till the rest of the world see what's going on here because they do not know. And I was saying that back then in 2010. And lo and behold, look what's happening. And I was calling it the Nigerian Renaissance. I said, when it breaks out, right now, everybody's doing Nigerian dances from Chris Brown to Missy Elliott to Beyonce to Sierra. Everyone's doing the Nigerian dances now. In fact, let me ask you a question. Name a dance that's come out of America in the past year or so.
I can't even name one in the last 5 years.
You've got to scratch your head until you're bald. You see, but all the dances that are coming out of Nigeria, just coming back to back, it's taken over. I can't even, let me see, a dance that came out of America since crunking. There must have been something, but it's not really coming to mind.
No, hitting mainstream.
Yeah, in the mainstream. So it's Nigeria. Nigeria has it now, hands down. So, and you see how the Nigerian artists are now selling out the O2 Arena and places overseas and stuff. So it's already happened. And I predicted that it would happen. And I wanted to be a part of that movement when I saw it still at its embryonic stage. Because when I first came, the American music was big in Nigeria. So they're playing all the Missy Elliott and the Nelly and the so on and so forth. And then when it came around to 2010-ish to 2011, it started tilting. And suddenly you go into clubs and now the majority of the majority of the music is Nigerian artists now. Yeah. And now with a taste of the American stuff.
Of R&B here and there.
Yeah. So the whole thing just went bloop and flipped over like that, which I was proud of Nigeria. I said, go Nigeria, go Nigeria.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna move you back a touch right now. You had a great relationship with someone described as perhaps the greatest artist that ever lived, Michael Jackson, and that was after your career. Well, your first half of your career with Shalamar, and you had this thing you choreographed for him, and then all kinds of stories popped up. Who started the moonwalk? Who created the moonwalk? So I want for the record right now, who created or who taught Michael Jackson the moonwalk?
Okay, the moonwalk initially came from the group, and I have to give them credit, the Electric Boogaloos, because they're the ones who started the whole body popping, body waving. But when they did it, it was just a scoot, scoot, scoot.
Okay.
So I wanted to do it on stage with Shalamar. So I perfected it and put the glide and the long strides into it so that I'm carrying it across the entire stage. So I can say that I pioneered the dance. I'm the first one to bring it over to Europe. I was the first one to take it over to Japan. It's before the breakdance movies came out and all these other things. So I can say that I perfected and I pioneered the dance. But I do have to give credit to the Electric Boogaloos, Poppin' Pete Boogaloos, Sam, Robot Dane, Skeeter Rabbit, Decky. I got to give credit where it's due.
Okay, so I'm going to get the admin to play a video, a very, very short video right now, and then we're going to the conversation about Michael Jackson. But if you're having a great time on screen, let me see your wave. Everybody wave, 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 wave. Okay, you're still awake? Awesome. Great. Okay, I see a hand up. Everybody, don't worry. You have the chance to have a chat with him at some point. No problem at all. Okay, here we go. Thanks, admin. Okay, Jeff, do you remember that?
How did that get out?
That was a rare footage. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That
The
was
year is
1995.
85. I was in New York with Michael. Michael brought me out of Japan. I was hosting a radio show in Japan, in Sapporo, called FM Northwave. And Michael called me out of the clear blue, brought me back into America. That was in New York. And we were working together again. And so we would go to the Sony studio. You cannot see the speakers in that room. On this side of the wall and on this side of the wall, the speakers are like that. The music is so loud because Michael's like, you got to feel it. You got to feel it. And the music will be so loud. And we would put on like that was Parliament Funkadelic. We would play
Yeah.
a lot of Roger and Zapp,
Hmm.
Cameo, music that had the clunk, pow, pow. There's really hard hitting beats in it. And we were just working out. Like as I was dancing there, you could hear Michael, because Michael and Taco are standing off on the side, and that's Michael going, ho, 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 and all that stuff, you know. But how did that get out? Because that's our personal private
That's gonna
rehearsal
be my
tape.
little secret. I've been doing a lot of research that you're coming on the show. I had to surprise you with something. And
Wow.
so tell us about your relationship with Michael Jackson. I know you worked on the Bad video, and you worked on so many other projects. When did he reach out to you? What were your, iconic or the works that you remember personally? We've lost him now, just over the for a few years now. What's it been like being without Michael in the industry? What did he represent for you in the industry?
Okay, let me start with the beginning. The first time I mean, come on, I grew up watching the Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 when they first started in 1969. I was in junior high school,
Mm.
and that's all we would talk about at school the next day. Did you see the Jackson 5 on TV last night? Did you see Michael Jackson? That's all we would talk about. So Michael had always been a superstar to us from day one. Um, when they appeared on Soul Train, and I was a Soul Train dancer, just like the dancers on Top of the Pops. I was just a dancer on the show, and
Mm.
they would come and appear on Soul Train, and I would just be mesmerized just watching these guys, not knowing that one day I would be working with Michael, because it was a family group. I
Mm.
just didn't envision that one day Michael would go solo. You
Mm.
know, they were the Jackson 5 and to the Jacksons. So it's like, how am I going to work with them? They're a family. I won't be working with them. But Michael went solo. What happened was I was getting so much, how do I say, of a reaction from doing a backslide on the Shalamar shows and on the dance numbers that I did on Soul Train. Michael Jackson came to Disneyland to watch Shalamar perform. He brought Janet Jackson with him. It was
Mhm.
in 1980. They stood on the wing of our stage and watched us do our show. After that, I got a call from his office and they said that they wanted me to teach. Michael wanted me to work with him. Now, the first video I'm in Beat It, but I'm not in the major dance scene because Shalamar was recording on one side of town and Michael was filming Beat It downtown in those warehouses. So every time I had a break, I would jump in my car and go downtown and I would so I'm in the walking scenes and Beat It. I'm lifting up the garage door, stuff like that. And when they're doing the main dance, I'm standing in the back, right in the middle of the screen. I'm just standing looking down over them because I couldn't rehearse it because I couldn't get to enough rehearsals, but Michael wanted me in it. So that's the first video of Michael that I'm in,
Thriller
is
album.
Beat It.
On the Thriller
Then
album.
on the Thriller album,
Yeah.
then come the next Bad album. Michael got a hold of me and he asked me would I work with him, and I'm like, sure. And I was staying in Japan and I came back to America just for a little stay, and I started working with Michael, and it brought me back to America while I was working with him because his videos, the Bad and the Smooth Criminal videos, took roughly around a year or so to do.
Wow. Just the two
You
videos.
know, yeah, the two videos. Yeah. Well, we had started working in '86 together at the beginning of the summer. We did the Bad video in New York around November into December '86. Then we went back to LA and we did Smooth Criminal around January into February '87. And
Mm.
then the Bad album was released in '87. So it was working. And then after that, I had a 20-year working relationship with Michael. I flew to Brazil with him and Spike Lee for the They Don't Really Care About Us video. I'm a creative consultant and on the Ghost movie. It's like a short mini movie called The Ghost,
Mm-hmm.
where Michael's putting, turning into all these different ghosts and monsters and stuff like that. And then my last real job in America was working at his record label, MJJ Music, in the Sony building. I was creative consultant and A&R for MJJ Records label. So, but anyway, my working relationship with Michael spanned over a 20-year period. I was in London when I got a call, and someone said, Jeffrey, I heard something on TV that something happened to Michael. And I'm like, you take it with a grain of salt, because you're always hearing rumors about Michael. You're always hearing something. And I just I didn't pay it attention. But suddenly my phone started blowing up and I started getting all these messages from everybody. I'm like, what is this? So I ran to the TV and turned the TV on. And this was between 10:30 to 11 o'clock in the evening in the UK, but it was like 2 in the afternoon or something in LA.
LA, yeah.
And they were all standing outside of the Cedars-Sinai Hospital. And I said, until I hear, and how to say,
Family member or
an
somebody.
official,
Yeah.
until I hear an official announcement, maybe it's Michael trying to get out of something. Or I said, I'm going to kill him when I see him, because he was preparing to come to the UK for the This Is It tour. So I was waiting for him to
Yeah,
come.
sold out over 50 dates at the O2.
Yeah, exactly. So I was waiting for him to come so I can, hook up with him. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill him when I see him, because I know he's up to something, because he's done something like that before to get out of the HBO special. He got sick and went to the hospital. I guess I can say it now because he's gone. But so I said, if he's doing this again, but when I heard Jermaine Jackson finally come out and made the official announcement, that's when I knew it was real. As surrealistic as it seemed and as unreal as it seemed, but that's when I knew it was serious. So what I did was, I'm in the UK and I was planning on moving back to Japan. I jumped on an airplane and I had to fly back to America to be at Michael's memorial.
Wow, that must have been something. It's like we look at guys like you. It's just like you guys can never die because you've been a part of us, growing up, And I remember from the Shalamar, from and then there's the Shalamar, and of course there's Jeffrey Daniel. For someone like there was Shalamar and there's Jeffrey Daniel. So being a part of our youth all the way. A video you did in 1982 talk about the Pops. It's doing its 40th anniversary next year. Admin, please pop on screen that image, the photograph. What? Yeah, wait. Yeah. I'm just gonna pop something. One of my fun images from last year. And 1 second. That's a beautiful shot right there.
Oh, thank you.
Look at
Oh,
this.
yes,
This is
sir.
Jeffrey, wife, and the child. Same birthday. Absolutely wonderful. In green as well.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Oh, wow.
Trust me. I'm sure you framed this and you have it as a big portrait in your living room somewhere.
Yes.
Beautiful shot. Thanks, admin.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. I thought I'd bring this up on you at one time. So, now it's a good time to talk about the Nigerian music industry right now. You went back to you moved to Nigeria at the perfect time, like you said, when it was kind of like in its embryonic stage. And you look at where we are right now. Now we're talking Grammy nominations, Grammy wins. Whiskey, Burna Boy, Davido, Tiwa. They're blowing up in the States, and it appears like the Afrobeat sound is beginning to penetrate or have a life of its own. Do you think it's real, or do you think it's just going to be a flash in the pan?
The music is definitely real. And the thing that really, how can I say it? The thing that really balanced it out and brought it home is when they started using their own vernacular in the music. When they stopped imitating
The Americans.
the people in America. And I'm gonna tell you a funny story. When I was a judge on Nigerian Idol, there was a guy that I met in the UK, and he's been living in the UK. I don't know if he was born there or whatever, but he's living there for a long time. And he heard about what was happening in Nigeria. So he says, man, I'm gonna go back to Nigeria, and so he comes back to Nigeria with this English accent, very Cockney, chopping it up and everything. And he thought that was gonna be his selling point. He got to Nigeria and he's like, wow, man, it's different there now. I mean, he didn't know any of the pidgin. He didn't know any of the vernaculars or anything. That boy couldn't bust a grape with steel-toe shoes on. He had to go back to the UK because it wasn't what he thought it was. The whole scene had just flipped over because he wasn't on ground. He didn't know. So he had to come back to find out. So anyway, to answer your question, I'm not one to tell people what to do or to criticize people or anything like that, because each generation has their thing. And, and I'm not really, indigenously from here in this context, from ancestrally, yes. But, so what I want to say is that I'm not the one to tell people what to do or anything like that. But I would suggest for the Nigerian artists, especially the younger ones now, to not be so influenced by what you see. Don't try to be Lil Wayne. Don't try to be Drake. Don't try to be Jay-Z. They're telling their story. What made Lil Wayne big is he's telling his story from down south. Which made Jay-Z big is he's telling the story from Brooklyn. What made, so-and-so. So tell your story, because the people don't know where you're from. They don't know about Oshodi. They don't know about, this area or that area or whatever like that. So be true to yourselves, because that story is going to be fascinating to people outside of Nigeria, or outside of Africa as well, or to the rest of Africa. So I'm seeing a lot of the guys here now really imitating that whole thing that's going on in America, putting the grill on their teeth, putting the jewelry, sagging the pants. They want to use the N word. They want to use the B word. Every video has to have a woman's bum bouncing in the camera. Is that African? Now, I'm not telling them you can't do this or you shouldn't do that, but you should. I think there's much more integrity in the African, how to say, from the African perspective. It's going to be much more substance in the African perspective. Don't be afraid to be African, because that's what's going to fascinate. Let me tell you a story, and I use this as an example. I started watching Nollywood movies in 2008. So that's when I knew of Genevieve and the Corey and Iniendo and Mercy Johnson and, Ramsey, all the people. I started watching all of them, right? Genevieve is a great actress. There's a lot of them. Omotola, a lot of them are there. They're great. Now, being that Nollywood had already kicked off and they're the biggest in Africa, all over Africa, they're watching Nollywood movies. Even in Francophone Africa, they're watching Nollywood movies. They're doing subtitles and all that. So you would figure that one of the Nollywood actresses would get to Hollywood first, because they had the head start, right? I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm just keeping it 100 with you guys, because I am so unapologetically African centric. Okay, so, but who is the one that cut through? Lupita. Why? Because Lupita was looking African. She wasn't trying to look like Vivica Fox. She wasn't trying to look like Halle Berry. She wasn't trying to look like what they already had over there. So this should be, and I knew this from the glance, and that's why Lupita cut through the chase, because they got an African actress, not an African actress that was trying to emulate the Black American stars already. Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so what I'm saying is, it's nothing to be ashamed of or angry about. It should be happy that who and what you are is going to be greater than anything else. That's a plus.
Unbelievable. And it's great to actually coming from you, someone who's been in the industry, because the overwhelming majority out there don't know how it works in the industry, particularly on the back end. There's a lot of political side which we don't necessarily have to go into, but like you rightly said, if you're outside looking in, you see it differently from those who are on the inside.
Exactly.
And like you rightly said, Lupita, as African as they come, and that was the catch. So I hope sure a lot of people are going to be watching this and are going to be tapping into that. Okay, so I think at this point we're going to put a halt on the conversation and try and get a few questions from those who are watching. So I'm going to start with Dr. Kole Odutola. He lives in the States. He's a lecturer in Miami. And Dr. Kole, are you here? If Dr. Colley is okay, Dr. Colley
Yes,
is here.
yes.
Okay, admin, please pin Dr. Colley. Dr. Colley, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Doing very, very well. Thank you very much for this very interesting conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
Brother Jeffrey, I have two questions. And the
Yes,
very
sir.
first one, because I study names, and I understand that names are very important in show business in America. How did you come up with the name Shalamar? Who came up with it? What does it mean? And how did the person think that it would really catch? That's one about the name Shalamar. The second one is that I'm teaching a class on culture and dance, maybe next year. It's still in the process. So it's nice to listen to you. And one of the things that we want to get the American children to think about is how culture influences dance and choreography. How did you come about that hand thing? Because in dance study or the study of dance, the environment has a big role to play in the way the dances come out. When you see Nigerian women, as soon as the music goes, pam, their torso will simply just shoot out because the music is really based on the torso. But if you get the same music and European hears a sound, they're going to on their heels. So these are the two different things. But in your case, you were like groping, like somebody in a cell. Does that have anything to do with imprisonment? No, or just let me not make a mess of it. But I would like to know from you how that dance step was created, what influenced the moonwalk. So there are two questions, and I'm going to shut up. The first one is the name Shalamar. How did it come about? What does it mean? And how come the person who created it had a feel that this will sell in Hollywood or in American entertainment sphere? And then the second one is how culture affects dance and what you were the message you were trying to pass with that hand.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you very much, my dear brother, for even coming on here and to engage with me. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate your questions very much. Thank you very much, my dear brother. Okay, so first of all, the name Shalamar came from our very first producer named Simone Susan, who came from Morocco. And he's the one who put that whole Uptown Festival collage of Motown hits, because at the time, disco was very big. And so he put this disco song together. Being that he's from Morocco, he was astute about Middle Eastern historical things. And the name Shalamar comes from a garden that some sultan created for his wife that had about 500 caretakers. It had water pumps with no machines and this and that. And that's why they named the Shalamar perfume with a L-I-M-A-R, because it's supposed to be the fragrance from the Shalamar Gardens. So we put a L-A-M-A-R, Shalamar, and we are the fragrance of R&B, dance, and soul music, you see? So that's where the name comes. Very, very interesting question, and I'm glad you asked that. Very, very, very interesting. Thank you very much. Now, the second one is, when I came up with, while we were doing body popping, the whole music industry changed because now it's synthesized. We got drum machines, not like a organic drummer playing. So now the music is sounding a little more mechanical. It's sounding more, you know, so these sounds are going, so the sounds are hard. And that's why we're popping, pop, 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 popping to the sound. And that's where we're taking all these, boom, 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 boom. You know, the backslide is supposed to be walking forward, but an escalator is pulling you backwards. Mm. Like you're walking forward on an escalator that's going backwards. That's how it's supposed to look. And so all this type of technical, mechanical things were going on in our mind while we were doing it. That's when the Terminator movies coming out, and we talk about RoboCop and Cyborg and You know, now they're starting to talk about AI technology, but it was still at the beginning of. So we're thinking along those lines and trying to be futuristic, all that type of stuff. So that was the mindset behind all of that. That was the mindset behind that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
brother.
Dr. Cole, and thank you for that. DJ Smooth Paradox. So we have a top DJ in the building right now. Okay, sir. What's your question, sir? Please unmute yourself. Yeah, go on.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, first of all, I got to show you this. Hey.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
Hey, listen,
Wow.
I
Thank you.
still I still get that. That was my
Wow.
first record ever,
Wow.
and still get it. I love it. I love it.
Wow.
Jeffrey
Thank you.
Daniel.
Bless you. Thank you, sir. Thank
Listen,
you.
you're welcome. Shalamar, Shalamar. Every time I watch Shalamar, even as a kid, I've always focused on you. When a lot of people focus on maybe Howard Hewitt or Judy Watley, you know, I always look at you and kind of like emulate what you do, because then I became a dancer myself, you know,
Wow.
and yeah, but unfortunately, life issues dragged me the other way. I didn't get to the point. But
Oh,
anyway, here
sorry.
we are. It's a great show. Thank you for coming on this show. You know, we absolutely love you and we
Oh, thank you so much.
appreciate everything that you have done over the years. I just got one question actually. I was actually heartbroken when Shalimar broke up. Did you think that Shalimar broke up at the wrong time? Or would Shalimar have become, and probably somebody must have asked you this question before, would Shalimar have gone up to become even bigger than it was at the time? You know, what do you think? Do you think it was right for it to have, you know, gone the way it did at that time? Or if you have given it a few more years, would you still have made, you know, more history? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, brother, thank you so much. I mean, I'm just so honored. I'm just so humbled by your having the original album and all that, and just you coming on here just to talk with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. Right. So that's a very, very, very good question. And I would have to agree with you. When Shalimar broke up, we had not even reached our pinnacle yet. We were climbing towards it. We're climbing. It's not we broke up because our record stopped selling or we started waning. No, we were still. In fact, we had already did a full UK tour, and at the end of the tour, they added on Wembley Arena and we sold it out. So they were planning for us coming back to sell out Wembley Arena maybe 2 or 3 nights. But our record company was not being fair with us.
Oh.
I mean, to lack of a better phrase, they were ripping, Dick Griffey was ripping us off. And so I just got to the point that, well, why am I going out here and breaking my neck for this man if he's not giving me what I'm really deserving? So I said, I just won't do it anymore. And I stopped. So it was painful. I mean, because I was in the UK filming a movie with Paul McCartney, I didn't just leave Shalimar. I left America. I just didn't go back home. So there were nights that I sat in my flat and I cried. And I didn't even know why I was crying. People don't even know this. You know, I would just cry because I was just there by myself. No one said, come here, we got this for you. We got a job for you. But it just so happened that when I left the group, I stayed in London. And then the first job I got was, I was on the cast of the musical Starlight Express, where I played the part of Electra. So I starred in the West End musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who's the greatest playwright in history. After that, I hosted the 620 Soul Train TV show in 1985. And then after that, I took off to Japan and started doing some things and this and that. As DJ Abass said, I got like a nomad spirit. But anyway, I think if Shalimar had not broken up then, we would have really cemented ourselves. We could have been like another ABBA or like another, I don't know what, but there was much more there because individually, we each contribute and still have so much more to give. As you see, when Jody went solo, she got a Grammy for the best new artist. Howard took his solo career in that direction. I took my solo career in that direction. And we were all doing well in our own context outside of Shalamar. So could you imagine if all that would have still been contained in that one group, which it was? That's what you were seeing when the three of us were together. And we were still growing and building. We were still young, so we were still growing and building. So would have built into, would we have been like another Rolling Stones? I give my condolences because they just lost their drummer a couple of months ago, but they're the longest running group in history, rock group in history, and they're still going. Would Shalamar have still been like that or something? You know, who knows? But yeah, I think we had a lot more mileage at the time we broke up. And it was very painful for me because Shalamar meant so much to me. And what I was doing with the group. I mean, Jody and I started off dancing on Soul Train. I've known Jody Watley since she was 12 years old. We met in the church. So we already knew each other. And I met Howard when we were like about 19 years old or something like that, because he was singing in a club. And that's why I brought him into the group, because I already knew that he was a good singer. So it was a very personal project for me, but the record company just didn't want to be right with us. So I just had to say, you know, arrivederci.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hope that answered your question, DJ Smooth.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you. So before we go to our next on-screen speaker, I'm going to ask two questions from the chat room. And the Black Door asks, what's your favorite Nigerian meal?
Ah, okay. One of them is egusi soup. One of them. The other one would be Nigeria. Come on, Nigerian food. If I want something good, egusi with eba.
You like eba?
I like eba. I like amala. I like poundo. I like it. Okay, here's the catch. I cannot take it spicy. So I like any of it. I like all the soups, everything, but I just can't take the pepper because I didn't grow up with it. Nigerian pepper is on another level. Now I eat Tabasco sauce and I could put that on my Mexican food. Ooh. But when you get to Nigerian pepper, that's on another level, bro. But I love all the foods.
Okay. And second question is from Tunde Alabi, and he asks, do you play any musical instrument?
I play almost anything. I have my guitar is here. I play keyboards. I play percussions. If you look at the Go For It album and look at the credits, you'll see that, which I produced half of that album, the Go For It album. I'm playing almost everything in the closet on that album. But yeah, I'm very musical because my mother was a classical pianist, so I grew up with music. And this is a funny thing, because of my dancing that got so notarized and so popular, a lot of people really don't think that I'm really that serious a musician or a singer or a songwriter or composer, but I'm just as equally that as well.
Okay, so and when you're in the UK, third question, what's your favorite place to play in the UK when you're in the UK?
We played the London Palladium, I think a year or so before the lockdown started. But I didn't like the stage because the stage was made out of rubber, so I had to take off my shoes so I could do a decent backslide across the stage because the stage was made out of rubber. I think the O2 Indigo might be one of the places that I like playing. And in London, I think between the O2 Indigo and in the London Palladium that we did, there's a couple of places that I want to play. I like to play the Royal Albert Hall. I like to play the O2 Arena. I'd like to play, but anyway.
Okay, so we have one of our in-house dancers, and he did tell me he was also you're the bad guy who actually inspired him as a dancer. He doesn't dance professionally, but he has been with us for the last 68 editions of this show, and he goes by the name Eric Ayola. Eric, and I'm sure he has a question or two for you tonight.
Absolutely. It's a great pleasure to meet you, Jeffrey. I love dancing. I went to the University of Ibadan. I was a dancer there. We had a club called Rock Force, popping, locking, breaking, windmill, crazy legs, all the works. Wow. So yes, I still dance now. Maybe you see some of my moves at some time.
in
Once a
terms of
dancer,
inspiration,
always a dancer.
absolutely. You're popping and locking. The robotics is just pop, pop. It's always there. So
Yes, sir.
Michael Jackson, Bobby Farrell of Boney M, James Brown, all my inspirations. And top of that pile, Jeffrey Daniels. So when I saw you on Soul Train and the moonwalk, and I actually love the backslide. I love the fact that you called it the backslide, because that's what I started off liking it. And then when Michael Jackson took it, then they changed it to moonwalk. I'm like, nah, it's the backslide.
You know.
So it's just fantastic. Now, one thing people don't know about you is your activism. Okay, a lot of people don't. You know, racial equality and social justice. You're quite passionate about it. And I know that you released an album, I think 1990, called "She's the Girl." But then, about 30 years after that, you released another one, which is with a kind of catchy tune, almost like Pharrell's "Happy." Try to remember the name now. "Making Love Great Again."
Make Love Great Again.
Yes, "Make Love Great Again." And you did state that you were going to donate the proceeds of that to groups that are fighting for social justice and racial equality. So my question really is, how is that doing? And have you been able to give back, to some groups and to push that activism forward?
Because I'm in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And the song was released during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And everything we're doing is on our own. I have my own label that I put together. It's called Your Music Group. And but we're just doing it on our own steam. It didn't go as far as I wanted it to, but I figured that the public would be more, how can I say, receptive to it, because it was addressing what's going on.
Yeah.
The impetus of making the song "Make Love Great Again," because Donald Trump was saying "Make America Great Again." And I'm like, what? So America should be great and Africa shouldn't be great. Nigeria can't be great. The UK can't be great. Haiti can't be great. So I said, let's make love great again, because we will all be great. And as you see that I have pictures from Japan and Africa and America and the UK, I just put all, because, we couldn't go out and make a video. We were in heavy lockdown.
Yeah.
So I just put together the best piece of material that I could under those circumstances. So the song didn't get as much steam, but it's not over with yet, because I have a song that I'm going to release now called "Back to the World." And brother, you are very keen, because all my music is addressing what's going on. So "Make Love Great Again," "Back to the World," talking about let's take it back and start it again. Let's take it back and act like humans again. Let's take it back to the world. I have another song called "Man is Killing Earth" that I will release later on. So all the music I'm doing is, I guess it's kind of like Marvin Gaye in his "What's Going On" vibe, that I'm addressing what's going on. And I'm surprised that not enough artists are addressing what's going on.
Yeah.
They're partying like everything is fine. in these tumultuous times that we're living in and going through, and people just going on. And you're right. I wanted to make something that had a bounce in it, like a Pharrell Williams "Happy."
Yeah.
And that's how I put the song "Make Love Great Again." Brother, you are very, very...
Thank you, sir. It's a real pleasure to meet you. Last question, please, DJ Abass. What's your favorite Nigerian Afrobeat move? Is it the shaku shaku? Is this Kelewu? Is this Sopi, maybe even? Can you boast a few Afrobeat moves at some point?
One of my moves. Let me see something.
Let me grab it.
Oh yes, Gara, that's good, man. Oh, shaku shaku, go for it.
Hey,
fantastic. Thank you so much, great stuff. Thank you, DJ. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much.
Okay, and I'm tuning in, joining us all the way from Chicago. We have Femi Usikalu. Femi, please unmute yourself. Oh, hope we not lost Femi again. Okay, Femi's here. Yeah, what's up, bro?
Okay. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Oh, fine. How are you doing?
Nice to meet you here.
My pleasure.
I was
My
going to
pleasure.
ask you a question about your favorite Nigerian dish, but that question already got asked. So let's go into love now. A love story here. Okay. So are you married to a Nigerian woman?
Say it again.
Are you married to a Nigerian woman?
Oh yes, yes, of course. She's from Benue State, so she's Idoma.
Okay, so tell us the love story. How did you get the connection?
How do we meet?
Yeah.
I was first staying here. I'm going back to 2010. The later part of 2010 is when we first met. I was staying with my Nigerian brother and sister, who I adopted, and I was staying in Ikoyi, and she was actually working at the Goodies supermarket on Awolowo Road. So I would go there to get my Oreo cookies, my pancake mix, you know, stuff that I was used to making because I'm this American in Nigeria. And I didn't know how to make Nigerian food, you know, so I would go and get the stuff that I knew how to make. And she would always be there, you know, serving me and helping me. And I looked at her. So I started finding reasons to go into the store the next time because she was over there by the Oreo cookies and stuff. So I would get Oreo cookies just because she was there, just to look at her. Because I'm a shy person. In the beginning, I'm shy. I don't just roll up on women like, hey, baby, what's your name? Hey, you know, I'm not that kind of a guy. So, and plus I'm new, you know, I was new to the whole environment. So I didn't even know if they would like this foreign, which they consider me foreigner. It's odd that I come back to Africa and I'm considered a foreigner, which I get it because I have an American accent and this and that. But in America, we talk about, we African, pro-African. And then we come to Africa, they call me Oyingbo and Bature. And I come to Africa and I'm the white man. I'm like, get what? You know? But anyway, that's how we initially met. And we've been together ever since.
Cool, awesome. All the best, okay?
Thank you very
So
much,
much,
bro.
Femi from Chicago, and from the UK, London, we have a DJ. He's an MC. He goes by the name Jide Limom on here tonight, but we call him MC Momelo. How you doing, Momelo? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing very, very well, my brother. Thank you very much for this, man. This is oh wow, Mr. Jeffrey Daniels. Can I just say, I'm in awe. I'm speaking to a legend. I thank you very much for being on this platform, for all of us to be able to speak to you, for all of us to be able to share in your experience. I want to first of all say one thing. Thank you very much, because you were a very, very pivotal part of my youth.
Okay.
I remember seeing Shalamar as a 6-year-old at the National Theatre in Nigeria.
Wow, you were there.
I was there as a 6-year-old.
Wow.
Thank you. Big shout out going out to my Uncle Yinka. I remember that day, and to date, that was one of my best concerts, because you guys entertained, you performed, you had a live band, you performed. So thank you very much for that. I mean, I'm a 47-year-old man, and I'll never forget that day till today. So thank you very much for that.
Brother, thank you.
So my question for you is, I think somebody else has already asked it here. Shalamar, I believe, are living legends. Is there any possibility of you guys getting back together as a group? That's my first question. Second question is, if and when, if we have to put it in prayer, Brother Jeffrey will put it in prayer that you guys get back together. When you get back together, we have this thing they call verses at the moment. I personally see verses as a celebration of, music artists. I don't see it as a competition at all. Is there any group that you would like to do verses with? If you had to do verses.
To do verses with?
Yeah, verses with. The verses that they're doing, that Swiss Beats and Timberland have created, where, artists go against each other, which I see as a celebration, like I said. Is there any group that you think Shalamar will be able to go against? And is there any possibility of that actually happening?
Okay, to answer your first question, are you guys aware that Shalamar, we have been performing in the UK for the past how many years annually until the breakdown came? Jody Watley is not with us because when we wanted to regroup the group again, Jody opted not to come with us because she was doing her solo thing and blah, blah, blah. So that's why we brought in Carolyn Griffey, who her mother was on the Solar label, and her mother was married to Dick Griffey. So Dick Griffey is her stepfather. So it's somebody that's still in the family, you see. And Shalamar was her favorite group. She never dreamt that she'd be the female in Shalamar. Now she's the longest running member because she's been with us now for like almost 20 years now. So
even longer than Jody.
Longer, yeah, because Jody was in the group from 77 until 83. Carolyn has been with us since the beginning of the 2000, like 2000,
Fantastic.
up until now. So yeah, so anyway, but the point is that, so we'll be there in May. We'll be touring there again in May, but it's Shalamar featuring Howard Hewitt, Jeffrey Daniel, and Carolyn Griffey.
Okay. And then for the verses question, would you, if you're going to do the verses, which I see, like I said, I see as a celebration, not a competition at all. Is there any group that you like to do that with?
That's odd because it's something I never thought about before. And now that you're asking me, like, I know so many artists out there that now my mind is going, and a group.
There's so many. Kool and the Gang, Dynasty, so many. People are saying so much.
In the infamous words of Howard Hewitt, bring them on. Come on,
bring them on.
Bring them on.
Bring them on.
I love that. Thank you very much for taking the time out. Like I said, taking the time out to be here. You're a living legend now. You need to be celebrated. So thank you very much.
Let me tell you something. DJ Abass, he is worthy. All he has to do is say, Jeffrey, come along, and I'm here.
Oh, look at that. That's thank you very much, Abass, for doing this, man. This is absolutely amazing.
Thanks for joining us. Okay.
No worries.
P-Mesh.
Abass.
Yes.
Real quick. I just wanted to say to any of my Yoruba people, okay?
The mobile game and really great ideas to make the game better. Just by playing Dream League Soccer 2021, I've been noticing some small things that can be changed to improve Dream League Soccer in either Dream League Soccer 2022 or in the future Dream League Soccer to come. So that being said, here are 22 ideas for Dream League Soccer. What just happened? And Dream League Soccer looks kind of incomplete right now. When we want to play any exhibition or career mode game, all we see is a nice, not real logo, a fake one that's made to look like the actual.
Are you Jeffrey?
I'm sorry. Was someone?
I thought that was you.
No, I was trying to say something. And
go on.
Okay, I wanted to say something. Okay, to all my, because I wasn't born and raised here. I'm kind of like multicultural. So I want to say to all my Yoruba people, you can address me as Olagoke.
Olagoke. Olagoke. There you go. So if you don't know, now you know. It's Olagoke from now on. Awesome. We'll make a note of that. So it's now Jeffrey Daniel. It's J-O-D, Jeffrey Olagoke Daniel. And also, thanks Momelo for that. And for those who don't know, is it Jeffrey Daniel or Jeffrey Daniels?
There's only one of me. So it's not plural, it's Danielle.
But I'm sure you've heard that before.
Yeah, a lot of people make the mistake, but for my family, there was never been a S at the end. And I got that from a friend of mine. He said, Jeffrey, man, there's only one of you. Why is it plural? So I was laughing about that. But no, there's no S at the end, just Daniel.
Awesome. Okay, P-Mesh is in the building. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm fine. Good evening. And good evening. Well, I should say konnichiwa, brother Lagoke.
Konnichiwa, konbawa.
And that's a prelude to my question. No, first, you are an amazing guy, and wow, what a living legend you are from all that you've done, how you've inspired us as young kids trying to emulate your dance steps, and looking back, how we're still in awe of you as a dancer. So well done to you on that one.
Thank you.
Now, the question is, you've made mention of the fact that you are in Japan for quite a while.
Yes.
Now, what was the attraction to Japan, one? And two, why did you stay so long in Japan? So those are the questions I'd like to know, just to fill in the gaps in its entirety.
Okay. The thing that first gravitated me towards Japan was because when I grew up in Los Angeles, we lived close to Little Tokyo. And so whenever we had to go downtown LA, we had to walk through Little Tokyo. If we wanted to go to the movies, if my mother wanted to take us shopping for school clothes or whatever. And we would walk through Little Tokyo. And my birthday is August 24th. And that's when they would have the Nisei Week parade. Nisei means like second generation. So they would have these parades and festivals around the time of my birthday. And my family, we were not very affluent. So we didn't have a lot of money. So my mother would take me down to Little Tokyo for my birthday for a parade. So the two things that were instilled in me, that was Africanism and these images of Japan. When I heard the music of Sakamoto Ryuichi, my heart just dropped. And when I saw the fashion of Kansai Yamamoto, I just became a Kansai junkie. And I eventually met Kansai Yamamoto. And in fact, we lost him last year, but I was fortunate to spend the summer of 2019 with him. I hadn't seen him in a while, but the summer of 2019, we got together. And in fact, I was going to try to plan to bring him to Nigeria for one of the fashion weeks or something like that. We're talking about things like that. But we lost him last year. He wasn't just a great fashion designer. He's just such an iconic figure in Japan for many other reasons. But the music of Sakamoto Ryuichi and the fashion of Kansai Yamamoto, and then Michiko Koshino, who lives in London. She lives in London and she has a fashion. I just love their fashion thing so much. And the images of Japan were so bold in that. And I can tell you why I love Nigeria and Japan, because in those societies, you can see their culture at a glance. You come to Nigeria, you see people wearing the native, especially, every Friday, basically, they'll put on the natives. But then throughout whatever, people put on native. Then when they have weddings or certain ceremonies, that's when they really put it on and all that. Nigerian culture, you can see it everywhere. It's in their food, it's in their music, it's in their dress, it's in their language. The culture is alive in the society. And I come from America. What's the culture? Baseball, Disneyland, hot dogs. You know what I mean? Then you go to Japan and you're seeing kimonos, and you can see sumo wrestling, and you can see the language and the calligraphy, and the culture is very visible. So when you're in Japan or in Africa, you can see both of the cultures at a glance. And another thing about Japan and Nigeria that a lot of people don't know, there are a lot of names of cities, states, and people that are identical in Japan and Nigeria. Does anybody know that? Are you guys aware of that?
Nope.
No.
Okay, it's because I'm coming from Japan. Do you know the real name of Tokyo is Edo? And I was so surprised to find out that Nigeria has an Edo state. Ogun is a Japanese word. Oshun is a Japanese word. Jigawa. Gawa means river in Japanese. I'm thinking fast, but I can keep naming them. And Nasarawa sounds Japanese.
Fuji.
Fuji music and Mount Fuji. Thank you very much. There are so many names that can't be a coincidence. There's got to be a reason. And I'm trying to dig that out and find out what it is.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
Arigato.
Thank you, P-Mesh. Awesome. Becky, you're live. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. We're going to deal with this 5. Any other question after the next 5? And that's Prince Folari Oshinusi, Askino, Trisha, Betty, and Mike. After that, all questions will be in the chat room. So, Betty, the floor is yours. Hello, Betty.
Hi, how are you?
You turned on the camera for Jeffrey.
Yes, I
You
had
never
to turn on my camera for my brother. Hi, brother Jeffrey. I mean, I'm starstruck right now. I'm amazed that you're here with us. I mean, honor to you, and the way you're just talking, I'm like, wow. You went to my homeland. I too was there at your first concert in Nigeria, and I've been following you from the word go. I'm going to rephrase the question that was asked, and maybe if we say it this way, maybe you would be interested. Given the right price, There's nothing like the original Shalamar. I don't care. I know there's you do say the group is currently in Europe, been there 20 years and all that. But there's nothing like the real Jeff. There's nothing like the real Jody Watley. There's nothing like the real How to Hewitt. So given the right price, the right time, the right place, will there be just a little consideration from your side if they say, would you guys be up for a reunion? Would you at least consider it?
Before Jeffrey answers, Jeffrey, before you answer, let me first put in a caveat there. I'll be your lawyer. The right price. You have been in Nigeria for 12 years, Jeffrey. You know, with the right price, anything can happen.
Yes, so yes, so.
So have that in mind as you answer the question.
I know they vex, so.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, listen. We went to Jody and we begged her to come and with us, and she was adamant about not doing it again. Jody is like my little sister. I love her to death. There's nothing I would ever say against Jody and I want people to continue to support her. Whatever she does, wherever she does it, please support Jody. But she wanted nothing to do with it. And so you can't replace Jody. That's impossible. I mean, we grew up dancing. I've noticed since she's 12 years old, we grew up dancing on Soul Train together, and we started off Shalamar together. How do you replace that? You don't replace it, but we started off with Shalamar, just Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Daniel, and it just didn't have a balance to it with just me and Howard on stage. Even the promoters was like, you guys got to get a girl there. And I was angry. I'm like, how the promoters telling us who we are and what we should do? But it made sense because, you know, there are female vocal parts in the group as well. So we incorporated Carolyn Griffey. The moment Carolyn Griffey came into the group, Jody and her trolls and her team started attacking us. And we're like, my God, where is this coming from? Because she wanted nothing to do with Shalamar. But once we started making moves, she started attacking us. And so that caused bad blood. I would not counterattack because I love Jody. So I just I pray for her and I just continue doing what we do. And yes, you are right. There is nothing like the original. There will be nothing like the original lineup. That would just be killer. But Jody, she didn't just burn the bridge, but she detonated the bridge and just blew it up. So now that Carolyn has been with us for so long, you just couldn't turn around and kick Carolyn out of the group just to have a one night with Jody or something like that. I don't think it would be fair. But for me personally, I would love nothing more than the original lineup because that's what it is. You know, that's the real meat and potatoes. But Carolyn, she's not like trying to replace Jody or trying to fill in her shoes. She's brought her own into it. She has her own texture, her own vibe, and she's made it her own. And so that's what Shalamar is in today's context. So I hope I answered your question, and I thank you very much.
Yes, you did. And it's a pleasure having you today. I mean, you have to be the best so far. Growing up with you, knowing you're looking good, you're doing your own thing. And now I can say, I don't even have to call you Jeffrey no more. I'm going to call you Olagoke since you're mine. Okay?
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Betty. And okay, Askino.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing, bro?
Oh, yeah. Hi. Well, thank you for coming on tonight.
My pleasure.
One thing I would say is that I have watched the live show of Shalamar as it was in the beginning, and I've watched 2 of your shows in England, and I must say they were as good as each other. They were great shows. The lady singing with you now, she's quite good, you know,
right.
And we had a fantastic time. And I would point out one thing. I remember when I saw you in the show in the picture here, and I approached you with my wife, and I spoke Yoruba to you, and my wife was shocked that, why am I speaking Yoruba? I said, look, this guy is a Lagos guy now, you know? But my question is, when are you coming back to the UK for a show?
In May.
They're
already planning it for May next year.
Okay. So hopefully we'll meet again.
If we don't get any more waves of COVID coming in to interrupt everything and disrupt, but we're planning it for May next year. And I think, where was that picture taken?
Peterborough.
Peterborough. Ah, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. How you do? How have you been doing?
It was after the show. I approached you, and my missus took the picture.
Okay, and how have you and the missus been doing throughout this pandemic?
We've survived it so far.
That's good. That's good. Praise God.
That is it. Bow Danny Bogbonka.
I do quite alone. That one can be. That one can be quite tricky.
No, Jeffrey responded to me that night when I spoke Yoruba to him.
Bawoni. Oni Baje.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks so much. And Mikey. Mikey, how you doing? You're on now, Mikey.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Jeffrey, I have a very quick question for you. I just wanted to know, out of all the street dancers of the 80s, who would you consider to be, in your own estimation, the best? Because I'm kind of thinking it might range from someone like Mr. Wave, Poppin' Pete, perhaps Boogaloo Shrimp, or one of those cats. Who's your favorite and why?
I would have to say I have multiple favorites for multiple reasons, because when it comes to popping, the best popping technician on the planet, you already said his name, Poppin' Pete. That brother is just, he's still out there and he continues to evolve the dance. He's still evolving the dance. Brother just hit 60 and he's still evolving the dance. He's putting videos on Facebook and that. When it comes to whacking, which my big brother Tyrone Proctor, who first took me into Soul Train, he's the premier whack dancer. When it comes to locking, then we're talking about Fluky Luke and Don Campbell and Shabadoo. So for the different styles of dancing, when you name the East Coast people and Boogaloo Shrimp, I will have to be biased because I was there with the people, the originators and the ones who were the forerunners of the dance. Even though Boogaloo Shrimp is great, Boogaloo Shrimp, he holds it down. But Poppin' Pete, that's another dimension. Poppin' Pete is like, woo, amazing.
What about Mr. Wade?
About who?
Mr. Wade.
Mr. Wade?
Mr. Wave.
Wave? I don't know. I'm not sure who Mr. Wade is.
Okay.
Is he someone from New York or something? Sounds like maybe a New Yorker or something.
I kind of think he's from the East Coast, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
One final question, and this is more for African indigenous music. And I'm not talking about the modern music. I'm talking about more, African Nigerian traditional music, like juju, fuji, akpala. What have you taken to, or perhaps it's Afrobeat, traditional Afrobeat? Which genre have you taken to, or what artist?
I'm not trying to give you an ambiguous answer, but I would have to say all of it, because Sir Sheena Peters with his Fuji music, of course, Femi Kuti is my brother, and I've watched the evolution of Femi Kuti's son, Made Kuti, grow up, and now he has his group Made in the movement. So he's carrying on the Kuti legacy. Of course, Shun Kuti as well. And then who else? King Sunny Ade. I was into them. There's a couple of people. I might not know everybody's name right offhand, but because I'm a musician, I listen to a lot of music. And I appreciate it all. I listen to a wide spectrum of music, so I can't just pin it down to one thing. But I'm influenced by a lot of it, and the dances here as well. So I'm just as fan of Nigerian music as Nigerians may have been a fan of my music.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mikey. Hope that answered your question.
Good. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, Sure. What's up?
Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Hello, Jeffrey. Or should I call you? I should call you Chief.
Chief.
He's Chief. Chief Olagoke. Daniel.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you. And it's a pleasure to have you on here, our Friday night in a Caucus. It's a pleasure. You were a household name in my household. And I do recall my older brothers back in the early 80s. You know the powders you put on baby's butt? We used to put that on the towel floors, and they used to try to perfect the backslide, wearing on socks. you know,
that's
yes.
cheating. That's
not
cheating.
cheating. We were trying to be as flexible as you are doing your backslide back then. But yeah, it's so much of a pleasure to be here today talking to you in person. And I just want to say that I'm so much in awe of you, and it's quite refreshing hearing someone that's born and bred in America, now living in Nigeria and trying to sell Nigeria to us Nigerians. It's quite refreshing. So my hat out for you. And that's why you should be called the Chief Olagoke Daniel. Yes, Olagoke Daniel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But you know what? I want to say to her real quick, probably why her brothers was putting the powder on the floor and doing it with the socks is because after it got to the breakdance movies and stuff like that, as you notice, you never saw me or Michael Jackson doing it with sneakers on.
No.
But after the breakdance movies that come up, people were doing it with sneakers, and sneakers are meant to stick to the floor so that basketball players wouldn't fall.
Yeah.
So if they were trying to do it with sneakers on, that's probably what was prohibiting them from doing it good. You got to get leather bottom shoes.
Okay. One last question, DJ Abass, for me. You've talked about the law of Nigerian actors and actresses. If you were going to do any collaboration, not with an act, with one of the current singers, who would you do that with?
With a current singer?
Yeah, any of the singers, that upcoming artists in Nigeria right now, who would you do a collaboration with? Because a lot of them are doing it with Americans. So who would you do with a Nigerian?
That's a good question. It'll probably be somebody like Flavor or Yemi Alade or who's the other one? I love Wajay. Wajay is such a great vocalist.
Fantastic singer.
Yeah, she's a very great singer. And I would think along that line, because it would have to be someone singing, not to put anyone down or something like that, but I wouldn't go for that auto-tune stuff so much, because that's another thing. We would have to be more organic with it. You know what I mean?
Authentic. Love that.
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Olagoke.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we have also Prince Folarin Oshinusi, a real old school Donny in the building. And Prince, please feel free. You're next. Please unmute yourself, sir. Okay, I think Prince has gone for a drink or something. Okay, so Omoba, please unmute yourself. Please do it again, one more time. Yeah, okay.
Right. Olagoke, how are you?
Fine, and you? Thank you.
Good to see you. Now, I'm just here to show off. Remember the time when you came to University of Ife?
Yes.
I was there. I was studying dramatic arts, and we happened to be the ones who usually host you at the Oduduwa Hall, where you had your concerts, and at the amphitheater. And so I was part of all of those hangers-on that would follow you all around all the time, trying to, kind of show off that, we are the theater, dramatic arts are the ones who play host, to all of the musicians that come to University of Ife. So I had the pleasure of meeting you back then. And then we had some kind of do at the Eco Hotel sometime back, and you were there as well, and you were teaching some of us ladies how to backslide.
Really?
Fantastic. Good to see you. I'm coming to Abuja in this November. I might just come and hook up with you.
Okay, do so.
To get some more tutorials on backsliding.
It's just amazing that you were there when we came there in '82, and that
82.
Wow, and we're still here, and you're here now. That's a blessing. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. Good to meet you, and thank you for becoming more Niger.
Oh, definitely.
And now more Niger.
That's the blessing of my life right now, coming here and being a part of this community. It's really a blessing for me. I consider it.
Awesome.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, Omaba. Thank you so much. Jeffrey, you've been with us for about approximately an hour and 45 minutes. That's the longest we've ever had a guest here. I'd like to specially thank you on behalf of everybody. And I'd like everybody to please unmute themselves one more time and give a huge round of applause to Jeffrey Dana. Please, everybody.
You the man. You the man.
Jeffrey, you can notice that once DJ Abass releases us, we all go on. He gives us an opportunity.
Jeffrey. Inspiration.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Buddy, you know what?
If you need a second wife, we can help you.
Mad lot here.
Okay.
Dr. Kole, you and your second wife. Now, what for you?
Hold on. It means
They want to
is allowed in Nigeria.
Of Nigeria.
And
you're doing well.
there is no other way to run but just to play this iconic song. And then he's going to stand up and Olagoke is going to stand up and push that chair back. You're going to push that chair.
Come on now.
Get ready.
Hey,
Get ready. Night to remember.
Night to remember.
When you love
Come on now. All right.
Go for it. Come on, so move.
Wow.
Yeah.
Eric to join in, actually.
Eric
should join in. Eric should join. Eric, join in.
Eric.
I beg, mute everybody. Make me hear.
Mute everybody, please.
Just mute everybody so that we can hear.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Makes me so excited to think of what the power of love will do. And I'm filled with a love that's so tender. Get ready, baby, tonight.
More.
Get ready, tonight. Gonna make this a night to remember.
As well.
Get ready, tonight. Gonna make this a night to remember.
Hey.
Don't go.
Hey. We're going to have a 1 hour extension tonight.
Let's do it.
Get ready, gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready, darling.
Hey.
Baby, gonna
Abass.
Yes, sir.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, please.
You guys have almost brought me to tears.
Oh.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why I'm in Nigeria, because Nigerians, I have to tell you this, and I'm not saying this because you're here. You're the most hospitable people on the planet. And that's what endeared me and kept me here. You guys, I feel the love. It's so overwhelming. I just can't even contain myself. I love you all so much.
We love
And
you.
thanks.
Love you, man. You too.
We love you. We love
Love
you.
you.
We love you.
Love you. Love
We
Thank you
love
for
you
accepting
too.
me.
Big love,
Thank you
big
for
love,
accepting me.
big love.
Bọ̀dá jẹ́ ìfẹ́ má bara jẹ́ o.
Falagoke, yeah, Chief Falagoke from today. Thank you so much for being a part.
Love you, man.
Just to let you all know, remember next year, May, all Caucus family go to London. We're gonna go there and raise hell. We're gonna be disturbing London at the next Shalamar show. Thank you so much, Chief Falagoke, and we're now gonna go into the full session of the night. Feel free to roll along with us as we continue the night.